TS12, The Life of a Showgirl. So many notes, so many theories, glitter gel pen exploded everywhere. Sabrina Carpenter. But this track is calling out, no, it is screaming out at me, and I have no idea why. Do we see where this is going? Hey, what's up? It's Sirius and welcome back to another video. Now, let's just start off by saying I've got my best Showgirl colours on. I know this is more brown than orange, but I've got this really cute mint green top and I wanted to show it off. And we've got some orange glitter, so we're definitely ready for today's video. Okay, let's get into talking about TS12, The Life of a Showgirl. Okay, so I'm going to be doing like a deep dive and all of my different thoughts currently on the album, especially before the album comes out. It does come out October 3rd, which is really exciting. We found out on her Instagram or the New Heights podcast, depending on which way you found out. It doesn't really matter. It's so cool. I have my notes, so many notes. This says depression. This is my psych notes. Let's just like skip past that. So TS12 is something we've been waiting for a while, and it was always kind of that debate of what's coming first, DirecTV or, you know, TS12. And after Taylor got her masters back, yay, we kind of considered, okay, we're probably gonna get a new era, a new album, new era. Ooh. So this whole thing was August 11th. When Taylor Nation posted those 12 pictures of Taylor in different orange outfits on the Eras tour, thinking about when she said, "See you next era." And we were all like, okay, we could be clowning, but this could be something. So everybody was like, what is it? And then a countdown appeared on Taylor's website in orange glitter. And I was like, holy shit. And for me, that countdown finished, since I'm British, that countdown finished about 5 AM for me. Early in the morning, let's just say. So it was actually my sister who ran in saying, oh my god, it's a new album. So she revealed that the 12th album was called The Life of a Showgirl, and the New Heights podcast with Travis Kelce and his brother Jason Kelce, they kind of had like a thumbnail and saying, oh, we're gonna have a special guest, we're coming back early, and everyone thought, oh, it's Taylor. And then all of it seemed to like add up to she'd be talking about her new album on this podcast. So we knew it was called The Life of a Showgirl, and at this point we had no covers, no songs, no nothing. We just knew orange and mint green was like the vibe, the vibey vibe. The podcast episode came out on the 13th. Great watch, highly recommend it. That's how me and my sister actually found out what the album looked like. We didn't know Taylor had posted it on her Instagram, so we watched like the entire thing. So it was like a complete surprise for us. This is the album cover. Can we just take a minute? This is probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, and I love that she's wearing a like pinkish glossy lip instead of red. I love her signature red lip, but I love a good switch up, and she looks like a painting, she looks like a portrait, which we will get into later. So we were like, oh my gosh, this is iconic. And then obviously the way I found out was she turned around the vinyl to see the gorgeous back cover, by the way, which had all 12 tracks.
Do you want to see the back cover?
I would love to see all of it, yes.
Back cover is where we find the 12 tracks for my 12
tracks.
12th
bangers.
album.
Which we will be delving into today. I have so many notes, so many theories, all the shebang. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna feed you. I'm gonna give you 12 tracks. Fed. She made it clear that this is gonna be a bop album with bangers as far as the eye can see.
12 tracks.
Bangers.
It's so exciting, kind of like a 1989 twin album, which if that's the case, sign me up, bitch, sign me up. And also she's working with Max Martin and Shellback on this for the first time since Rep, may I add. Oh my lord, I am so ready for a new sound. I adore Jack Antonoff, as do most people. But I feel like this switch up will bring something fresh, something new. And as much as I love Aaron Dessner as well, but I feel like this is a total shift from Torture Poets. So it needs to have that like 180, which I'm so excited about. She said on the podcast that this is like her life behind the stage, behind the glitter, behind the glam.
I was working, I would be on tour.
How on earth did she do this on the tour is still blowing my mind.
Which makes me think it could be quite a raw album, but at the same time very tongue-in-cheek humor. Like, glitter gel pen exploded everywhere. And she also claimed to have written the album during the European leg of the Eras tour. I went to London night one, so this makes me unbelievably happy that she could have been just writing songs like when I saw her on stage. That's insane.
It was something that I was working on while I was in Europe on the Eras tour.
Also, there were these 4 vinyl variants that came out along with the standard edition, but these only came out on CD, and they are the cutest little merch packets. And I actually think that the price is actually pretty good, especially compared to the many pieces of discourse about how high the price range is on her website. And I agree, a lot of the items are ridiculously priced, but I think a special edition CD that has jewelry, never seen before pictures, a little box, like a display thing, for $16.99, that's actually really good. So I actually did buy one because I have a problem. I got the standard vinyl. I pre-ordered the standard vinyl literally before I even knew what the cover looked like. I was ready. I was like, pre-order. I'm gonna in basket. Thank you. And then obviously she revealed the cover and then the exclusive CDs. And I ended up getting the It's Beautiful edition, the silver one, that has the charm bracelet with a little opalite and the lightning bolts, which I didn't even realize as I was buying it. I saw the lightning bolts and thought, that's cool. I didn't realize until a few days ago that it's like an opalite type bracelet, and I was like, oh my god, that's insane, because I decided that, you know, I claimed the track opalite, so I was like, that is so weird. So I'm so happy I got that one, because silver, I just love it. The cover is gorge. I absolutely love the, like, I can't that so yeah, that's what I bought. There's another merch drop. I might have to apologize to my savings. I love you, it's ruining my bank account. So that's kind of the timeline of events, if you want to include Monday when she announced the new Shiny Bug collectors like vinyls, then sure, you can include that. They are pretty, but I do think I do think all of these vinyl editions are getting ridiculous, and I mean that for not just Taylor, but like I do think that like maybe 2, 3 max. Like, and to be fair, she's only got 3 vinyl covers, but then she's got like multiple CD covers. I just think I saw a video, I cannot remember who it was. I think it was on TikTok or something. I wish I could remember, but someone was like, picking an album cover, it's a statement. You are trying to encapsulate the whole album in one image on the front, possibly one image on the back. But now with all these different variant covers, as much as I love collecting them, it's like, it kind of takes away the big important kind of statement that is that front cover. And I completely agree with that. So I do think they weren't necessary, but there are Taylor vinyl collectors out there that will thrive on that kind of thing. So, you know, from like a money-making point, it makes sense, but I really don't think it was like necessary. But I can't talk because I bought the purple one for my sister because she loves purple, so who am I to talk? Okay, now we're gonna go on to my favorite bit of this video, which is the track list analysis, because when I tell you I have researched the fuck out of what these tracks could be, what they might symbolize, like my theories, bearing in mind these are just theories and predictions. I will not pretend to know what goes on in the genius mind of Taylor Swift. This is just from a title. This is just from a title. Like, I don't even know if the song's upbeat, like downbeat, sad, happy. I don't even know. This is just from the title alone, which is interesting because, like, don't judge a book by its cover. Like, genuinely, like, the song that comes to mind is I Can See You. I remember thinking that was going to be a piano ballad. I was so wrong. So I can't wait to see how right or wrong I am when the album officially comes out. But for now, this is kind of like a deep dive track analysis of what I think the tracks might be about, for a little bit of fun. Let's have a little bit of fun. So before we do that, I would just like to go through the entire track list that she has blessed us with. Track 1, The Fate of Ophelia. Track 2, Elizabeth Taylor. Track 3, Opalite. Track 4, Father Figure. Track 5, Eldest Daughter. That is going to be a wreck to all the eldest daughters. I will send you all tissues. 6, Ruin the Friendship. 7, Actually Romantic. 8, Wishlist with like little dollar signs on the S's like Kesha. 9, Would. 10, Cancelled. Block capitals, exclamation point. It's like 11, Honey, and 12, The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina. Oh lord. As somebody who grew up in a household with a sister that listened to Sabrina 24/7 during the Evolution era, this was like a big deal. She was like on the floor. But yeah, we will get to that. We will get to the featuring Sabrina. That's so exciting. I would just like to say, it's like been wrecking me. I've been avoiding watching any like deep dives into the track list to kind of separate my opinions from other people's, to kind of come to my own prediction conclusions, and it's quite literally been killing me because there are so many like YouTubers that love Taylor Swift that I love to watch who do like track list deep dives and stuff, and I haven't been able to watch them because I wanted to do like my own kind of take on it, and I'm like, I really want to. So after this is filmed, I'm just gonna like binge like any I can find to see if they've like thought of the same things or thought of something new and cool. Like, I'm so excited. So yes, this is just my take on it. See what happens. Okay, so track 1. As a literature buff, The Fate of Ophelia, I'm hooked. I'm hooked diva. To put this basically, like in its simplest form, Ophelia is a character in Shakespeare's play Hamlet, and she takes her own life. She drowns herself, and that is kind of, she goes mad, and that's kind of like the whole shebang. I'm not gonna go into like too much detail, but that's like the on the surface like story of Ophelia. There is more to it, obviously. So first, I mean, I've seen pretty much all over TikTok people comparing the album cover to the depiction of Ophelia in the John Everett Malias painting from 1851, this one, like the kind of drowning with it. And some people even said that the flowers look like the flowers on the piano from the Eras tour, which freaking blew my mind. But I find it really interesting that how similar the imagery is, like how performing could have driven her mad, like that being the beginning of the album. And what I actually said this to my sister, this is so ironic, that the track 1 on Tortured Poets sounds like it should be a title on TS12, and the TS12 track 1, The Fate of Ophelia, sounds like it should be a title in Tortured Poets. It's so odd to me. Like, I would be like, oh, that's a Tortured Poets track, but I feel like it's a good way to kind of switch from the eras, like start with something literature thing. I mean, it might not even be about that Ophelia, I don't know. That is just the most popular Ophelia in fiction, and she has been known to reference literature quite a bit, so here's to hoping. The next point I'm going to make, I actually found a lot of this like Ophelia interpretation on a YouTube channel called Jen Chan. She did an amazing kind of like deep dive into the tragedy of Ophelia and like the different perceptions of it. Definitely check out her video if you want to like know about this in depth. It's absolutely insane. Like, I love watching those kinds of videos. And she suggested that Ophelia's tragedy isn't the woe is me attitude from being a victim of bad circumstances. The tragedy is believing woe is her and having that mindset of self-deprecation. And it shows how taking things too personally or even being too passive can be problematic to ourselves. And I thought that's like such an interesting take on it. Again, check out her video, absolute slay. And the reason I thought this was relevant to the track, because Taylor has seemed to kind of find a really good like middle ground when it comes to communicating with the media or fans in a very like healthy way that's like grounding for her and doesn't put her into too much stress. But given that the tragedy of Ophelia could be the consequence of what happens when you are too invested in what people think of you, which I can imagine would happen a lot, especially when performing on stage and thinking, oh my god, did I do that right? Oh my god, did they like the performance? Because as enjoyable as it is, there's always that self-critique. There's always that self, like, am I good enough? Did they like it? So maybe we could be getting like a Mad Woman Cassandra vibe. Like, I know that this is meant to be like the opposite of Tortured Poets, I know, but I am a folklore person. I can't help it. This is just what my brain does. Like this iconic scene, Ophelia's descent into madness. There's like this iconic scene where she's throwing flowers and singing to herself and just, you know, and this like singing almost like a mad woman performing, you know? My point? Like a deranged showgirl. You get my vibe. With that pressing need of human acceptance driving someone absolutely crazy. So it could easily be like a song that has like biographical elements mixed with like personal experience just merged into one, kind of like how Folklore was. Again, I can't help it. And plus Taylor did say she is not leaving the folklore lyricism in the woods, okay? That will stick with her forever because she's just like that. She's just that cool. So if this is like the folklore writing style with a sick beat, I'm all for it. Bring it. Okay, I had way too much to say about that song. I am so excited. I feel like it's going to be one of my favorites, but we will see. We will see, won't we, on October 3rd. Okay, track 2, Elizabeth Taylor. I genuinely think that Clara Bow kind of made her go, ooh, that's a good concept. I'm gonna try it again. And I feel like this could be like a Lucky One meets Clara Bow kind of situation, which is so cool. It could easily be about her masters, getting those back, standing up for herself and her career and what is rightfully hers, kind of like Elizabeth Taylor did filming Cleopatra, claiming $1 million for the role because she was like, I know my worth, I know what I stand for, I know my talent, bitch. So kind of her and Elizabeth Taylor facing very similar like pushback from a very male dominated industry would be a really interesting topic to have in a song. And also both of their love lives were speculated to the max, and it was always people who would see them as either a one night or a wife. You know, she said it in Lavender Haze, but she don't want that 1950s shit, okay? So, you know, kind of Elizabeth Taylor went for a very similar thing, and I do feel like it could be like a narrative of how history is constantly repeating itself and people in the industry just having to break out of these cycles. Even if some of the industry might hate them for it and they're like, that's my work, I want to own it, let me do my shit, let me make art and let me own my art. It's that simple. So it could be kind of like quite a tragic song, but I do think like there might be like a Cleopatra reference in there. Like that would be amazing. I don't know enough about Elizabeth Taylor to make many more assumptions. I know like the bare minimum like things that are similar between her and Taylor, so if Taylor takes it in like a completely different route, I will be so sat. I will be intrigued. But given the similarities between the two of them, it could be like a how history repeats itself kind of story, like Clara Bow, like I said, like Clara Bow, like going through different women and saying, you look like this person, you'll be the next Stevie Nicks, or you'll be the next Clara Bow, like that kind of thing. I feel like since Clara Bow, it could have been her going, you know what, I really like that concept. Like step it up to a notch, maybe have like a beat, maybe have like a But she did say this was a very like glitter gel pen, sparkly pop, fun album. So, but a lot of my takes on this is this could be like a tragic meaning. Just like, I'm probably wrong given the fact that it is gonna apparently such an upbeat album, but we know, okay? We know that she has put devastating lyrics to a freaking sick beat. I mean, I heard one of them live, for crying out loud. Death by a Thousand Cuts, hello, hits different, hello. So, you know, she is perfectly capable of writing a fucking sad banger. We know this, so I might not be wrong. I don't know. Also, both of these women lived their life under just this giant microscope. Every person they dated was speculated about, so I do really want kind of a clapback at that for both Elizabeth Taylor and Taylor Swift, and there might be a play on the Taylor aspect, and we'll find out. Okay, track 3. I don't know why, but this track is calling out, no, it is screaming out at me, and I have no idea why. When my sister was like, which track are you claiming? I'm like, Opalite. It just makes it, I don't know, I just feel it. You know, when you, but sometimes the track you claim isn't actually the track you like. Like I remember I claimed, oh god, what did I claim from Torture Poets? I think some of the ones I claimed from Torture Poets actually ended up being like my least favourite, so you never like know. I did way too much digging into Opalite. I was like, I will find a metaphor, you can't stop me. There are natural opals. This is the research, hang with me. There are natural opals, known for their different colours and different hues of vibrancy and play on colour and light. Natural opals. And then there are man-made opals that have a sheen to them, but they don't quite have the same vibrancy as natural opals. Are you seeing where this metaphor is going? I'm a creative writing and literature student, I can't help it. Not only that, but natural opals take millions of years to be beautiful and shiny and authentic and fun, and man-made opals are factory made. Do we see where this is going? So it could show how she is more precious when she is being herself and sparkling and loving life, breaking away from a man-made factory structure that does not serve her, like the master's contract, like the whole shebang with Scooter Braun. Like, let's be real, she broke away from a factory-made process so she could sparkle, because she is a natural opalite. She can change colours, she can change plans and lovers and outfits and rules, diva, you know, like, bro. And also it could show how she's like experiments with her music, like she reinvents herself constantly, and you can look through an opalite and it will always be a different image or a different light or something really beautiful and moving. You know, and getting her masters back, owning her music, being able to shine, brought the sparkle back. It brought vibrancy back to something that was so hard hitting. I can't even imagine like someone trying to take my art away from me. It would just suck. So like, it kind of almost going from grayscale to something bright. You know, she's bringing the sparkle back to those old works that she thought were gone and she would never get them back. So bringing the sparkle back and being that natural opalite, I think that would be a really interesting concept for a song, especially with some like kind of snow on the beach glitters, like, you know, when she said, can this be a real thing, can it? And there's like that literal like glitter sound effect. I would love to have that in the opalite song. That would be really interesting. I'm obsessed with, my voice broke. I'm obsessed with that kind of vibe, and I would love for it to be something. I mean, it might be like completely different, but that is what I would love. I think that would be amazing. I love a good metaphor. Can you tell? Okay, track 4 is Father Figure. I actually have the least notes on this because I honestly have no idea where she's gonna go with this, and it will just be a surprise on the day. But what I gathered, she will apparently do an interpolation of George Michael's Father Figure. An interpolation is completely different from sampling. I thought she was gonna sample it, but apparently it's different. Interpolation means she's not sampling it, but she's gonna like weave in the melody from that song in some places, and George Michael does have like writing credits on the song, which makes me so excited because now a lot of George Michael fans are going, ooh, this will be interesting, you know, and I'm like, I love that. I love when anybody kind of discovers Taylor through another, if you discover Taylor through another artist, it is such a fun experience. Like, I discovered Lana Del Rey through Taylor, and that was fun. So I can imagine like the other way around would be fun. I think, I don't know the difference, I mean, I think there's like a slight difference between sampling and interpolation. I think an example of interpolation is kind of the Edge of 17 melody in Lana Del Rey's West Coast. Like, she kind of might have interpolated like Stevie Nicks in there. That was like, and that's a vibe. So if it's something like that, that'll be really interesting. The lyrics of the, I actually haven't listened to Father Figure. That is something I completely forgot to do for this whole research process. You'd think you should probably do that. But I did look at some kind of reviews and opinions on it, and apparently the lyrics apparently were very like debated, in the sense that it kind of had like daring romantic themes, like the whole daddy thing, like the whole daddy dynamic kind of made people either uncomfortable or be like, slay. So it kind of like could shift between maternal and or not. Like when I saw that, I thought, oh cool, the maternal song. And I think I'm completely off now that I know what George Michael's is about. Apparently George Michael did explain when the song came out that it was about finding a parental figure in a partner, that kind of thing. I don't think I know enough about that to like kind of predict what the song's going to be about, so I have no idea what Taylor is going to do with this. I'm sure we will find out soon enough, and it will probably slap. But you know, are we gonna get a bit of Freud? All right, Freud.
Yes,
Freud.
Oh,
So yeah, I have no idea which direction she'll be taking this in. It's probably the song I have the least notes about. Like, I can tell you like stuff about George Michael and his kind of take on it, but I don't know what she's gonna do with it. So Who knows, honestly. My apologies if the camera angles moved or anything. I had to replace the battery. Woohoo. Okay, so track 5. Of all titles I thought she was gonna announce, Eldest Daughter wasn't one of them. And I don't know how this is gonna go because yes, she's the eldest, but she's the only daughter in her family, so it might not be biographical. I don't really know how that works, but yeah, I'm actually a younger daughter. Well, by 16 minutes, okay? I'm a twin, so yeah, my sister's like, ooh. Okay, so eldest daughter, like I said, on the surface, it could easily be about her and she could maybe talk about her brother or her family, I don't know. But if we're going kind of by the more metaphorical route, which I seem to be doing for a lot of these, it could kind of be like her being the eldest daughter and the younger siblings being like her fans, and the pressures of being put up on this pedestal and not being able to screw up, and when she does, it's like unfixable. Like this kind of absolutely bone-crushing expectation of being kind of what everybody looks up to, because a lot of the time the eldest is kind of who the younger siblings look up to a lot of the time, and that comes with its own set of challenges. So if you kind of like put that in perspective of fans, especially fans that treat her like a god, that's a lot of pressure for someone, because she's like, I can't screw up now. But she's only human, so she's gonna do dumb things, she's gonna do great things, we all do that. So again, might be like a mix of biographical and fiction depending on which route she's gonna take with it. Given that it's a track 5, I'm guessing devastating ballad. They usually are. I don't know what the beat's gonna be like, I don't know what the production's gonna be like. Chord progression, no idea, but usually track 5 is like fucking like a smack to the face. I think the most upbeat track 5 we've had is All You Had to Do Was Stay, and that was 1989, so we could have like a really upbeat sad banger. We don't know. It could be like a This Is Me Trying Mirrorball, like lyrically, which I would adore, obviously, with like a sick beat. Like the pressures of being in the limelight, being that one that everybody wants to be or be like or looks up to. It must be like so much pressure, and if you were going to compare that to something realistically in real life, I feel like the eldest daughter is a really good kind of way to go about it. So I kind of hope it's about that, but you know. Also, like, it could be like an industry thing though, like, you know, there's all this like kind of, oh, you know, Gracie Abrams and Sabrina Carpenter, like Taylor Swift's like children, or like younger sisters in this case, kind of like maybe it's like a Nothing New kind of thing, like the younger siblings are kind of coming into their own, and she's like, you know, I don't know, that's just like kind of what from the online stuff I've seen, you know, it could kind of be about like a Nothing New, the kind of radiance you only have at 17, that kind of thing. I mean, that song broke me, so if it's like Nothing New, I will cry, and if it's a track 5, I know I probably will. So like, to be fair, I often am so focused on listening to the lyrics, I don't cry until like a few listens later. Although sometimes with songs I will just lose it. Like I remember listening to Robin for the first time. That song meant so much to me and I literally just lost it. So I think track 5 will be heartbreaking, but there's a chance we could be getting another All You Had to Do Was Stay. Who knows? Like a sad bang. Okay, track number 6. Okay, Ruin the Friendship. Now, I'm gonna get this out of the way. A lot of people have said it's about Taylor and Blake Lively. Quite frankly, that's none of my business, and I honestly don't know enough about it to judge. Like, I don't think it's a, oh, we're not friends anymore kind of song at all, because it's a track 6, guys. I mean, it could be, but all of the track 6s are like a kind of pick me up from track 5. That's kind of how it's always been, like, as a pattern, and unless she changes the pattern, which she could, I'm gonna say it's gonna have a bit of a different theme, maybe something a bit more upbeat, chill, than something kind of really sad, because, like, think about it. Track 6, we're never getting back together. Track 6, but Daddy, I love him. Then again, Midnight Rain was on there, so who knows? Even like if you imagine the anthology as a separate album, track 6 is still So High School. Which I do think of the anthology as a separate album, thank you. I think he knows, like those fun kind of upbeat or more upbeat songs. So I actually think that it could be about like moving to the next level of a really good relationship, like, oh, let's ruin the friendship. You know what I mean? Kind of the point of no return, going to that next level of, we'll be ruining the friendship, but we will be lovers. Woo! I'm sensing an I Can See You thing about to happen, and if that is the case, sign me up. Like, I think that it will be a okay, let's ruin the friendship kind of song. I don't think it's a we ruin the friendship. I think it's like a tongue-in-cheek kind of like, ooh, let's ruin the friendship. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, that is what I'm picking up on it, especially considering, like I said, it's a track 6, so I'm kind of expecting a more light-hearted kind of playful thing going on. I might be proved wrong. I will be surprised, and you know what? Come what may, dude. 7, track 7, Actually Romantic. I am so excited to hear what this sounds like. Based on Jason and Travis's reaction on the podcast, I don't think it's hard to guess who it's going to be about.
Actually Romantic.
Track 8.
I wonder who that's about.
Wish.
Travis was like, ooh. And Jason was like, think we know who this is about. And Travis is like, I'm gonna predict it's kind of like another So High School, but with like a more glitter gel pen, paper rings thing going on. I would absolutely love that. Like, I genuinely want this song to sound like Pink. Does that make any sense? Okay, hear me out. This is like a kind of like odd take, but it could be kind of like a New Romantics vibe, in the sense that it can play on the original melody and maybe shift it into something else. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe like this would be so cool if she used like the last note of New Romantics to start Actually Romantic, something like that. Kind of like how the end of Champagne Problems was the piano sequence and chords for Chloe Sam Sophia Marcus. Like, you could literally carry it on from the end of Champagne Problems, something like that. Twisting it into like a more fairy tale cliche kind of thing, mixed with some poetic clever lyrics and being in love, you know, just something like that. I would really think that would be really sweet. I have a feeling that the bridge on Actually Romantic is gonna absolutely slap. I feel like it's gonna be like a love story meets Paper Rings, like, but like with a little Travis spin on it. I am so excited to see what she does with that, because So High School was just so sweet. I mean, I'm not even in love and I felt that. Like, that was like so good. So I feel like it'd be like that, but with less kind of electric guitar, more kind of, not synth, but like more like magical soft instruments, like a dreamy love thing. Okay, number 8, Wishlist with little dollar signs. It was called the Kesha signs. But given the dollar signs in the title, I'm gonna assume there's a reference to money, but with like, in like a contrast to like lovers. I'll explain what I mean. So a wish list, all the things you want, right? So maybe it's like her listing off all the things she wants in a lover, you know, kind of like she said on the podcast, I have been waiting years for a love like this. But there'll be like certain things you would kind of like 16 wishes, but with like relationship goals, you know, like it could be her like naming all of her favorite qualities, all the things that she looks for in a partner, mixing it into like a little Evermore potion and spitting out Travis. Maybe like an all the girls narrative, like she's found so many qualities that she's loved in different guys, but in the end he possesses all of them and he is her soulmate. That kind of thing, like bringing it all together at the end, being like, oh, he's everything I've wanted. Check it all off my wish list, bro. And I feel like the bridge would be kind of like a checklist. Like, what I feel like it's going to be like one of those fast-paced bridges, you know, like a Death by a Thousand Cuts. It's different. I'm gonna be keep referencing those. I don't think it's gonna be like a 7 Rings, like an I'm rich kind of song, I can buy my own hair kind of thing. I genuinely think it might be like a wish list of qualities that she's always looking for in a lover, and kind of like an all the girls narrative mixed in and out of it, which would be Chef's Kiss. Thank you. If it's anything like that song, we have nothing to worry about. Track number 9, another track that I have a feeling I'm going to like, but again, it could just be the folklore person in me. The track is called Wood, and like I said, the folklore stan in me wants to believe that a little Woodvale moment, but I'm trying not to be too delulu, okay? I'm trying. If I had to predict anything, especially with this whole like the life of a showgirl behind the scenes kind of theme that she said she's gonna have going, I first kind of want to talk about how the tour went through different seasons, kind of like a forest. You see where I'm coming from, you know? Like kind of like nature in the woods. Like her outfit changes and the weather she performed in, kind of like how the leaves change and it's sunny, rainy, da 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 da. So that's kind of like a kind of baseline possibility if we're going by my metaphor brain. Also, backstage can be quite like isolating, so can a wood. It's where you do deep thinking, okay? You do deep thinking in a wood, let's be real. At least I do. But then I literally have on my notes, that said, why is it called wood and not forest then? So I like went on a completely different tangent, and I kind of like, so wood is like a hygroscopic material. It can absorb and release water from the surrounding atmosphere, kind of like the process of releasing music. She absorbs emotions, sits with them, then releases them to the public. This kind of form of songwriting, it hydrates her. It's cathartic. Maybe it's like a song about songwriting. Wouldn't that be fun? So it could be kind of like an introspective song about how she would literally crumble without the outlet that she has. And especially with this whole like wood, like you can tell, like specifically with trees, I'm kind of thinking trees. Like when you cut them open and they have like circles, you can kind of count the rings and kind of like deep dive into how old they are or how cool or pretty or polished. It kind of like a very like depicting a celebrity's life kind of thing. But if it was just about a wood, like for example a wooden house, wood, like rain can seep through the cracks, you know, it can kind of, wood can like crumble and like break and get really like attacked by different weather conditions. It could be like, that could be like a type of metaphor for like what it's like in the public spotlight. Again, very sad concept, but you know me. Also, I just have in big like block capital letters, wood can make guitars. Do with that what you will. Okay, track 10. One that Travis specifically said, this is a banger.
Cancelled, but it's in all caps with an exclamation point at the end.
That's a banger.
And I can't even imagine what she is going to spit out with this one. I am so excited to hear what it's going to sound like. So I think on the surface, it's kind of obvious that this song is going to be about cancel culture. Like society has developed, especially on Twitter and TikTok, cancel culture, and everybody kind of knows about it. It is helpful sometimes, but a lot of the time it is people with the mindset that nothing is redeemable. No matter how long ago it was, even if you've apologized, but nothing's redeemable, because if you're apologizing, you're only apologizing because you got caught, or you're only apologizing because someone dragged it up. Why didn't you apologize? Well, why didn't you bring it up? Question.
But then somebody could be like,
Passive aggressive.
why is she saying hello?
Petty. Why
Yeah.
did she do that?
Yeah.
Why is she greeting us?
Yeah.
Who is she greeting?
Yeah.
She greeted us too soon. She greeted us too late.
Yeah.
She greeted us with a weird undertone.
I'm talking like ridiculous things to get cancelled for here. I'm not talking about actually serious things, and I don't think we should really use the word cancelled when it comes to like freaking crimes. It's like the smallest things, and a lot of the time it's like you do need to like realize that people are human, and it doesn't matter if they're a celebrity, they're gonna fuck up. But you get my point. I'm not gonna like delve into that because that is not what I'm trying to talk about, but the song could be maybe like a clapback, I don't know, about how a lot of people in the limelight literally can't win. I do feel like they get put on this big pedestal, kind of like what I said in Oldest Daughter, and they literally cannot win in that circumstance. Like for example, like this is a thing I'm thinking about that comes to mind. When Taylor gives to charity, a lot of people will try and like cancel her, saying, well, she never gives to charity, she's a millionaire, she doesn't give to charity. She does, she just doesn't tweet about it, and she doesn't kind of make it a public thing. In that situation, she can't win, because if she doesn't tweet about it, people don't know it happens, therefore it couldn't possibly have taken place. But if she did tweet about it, she's big-headed and she's only doing it for the approval, and she's only doing it for the attention, so she literally can't win. Those are kind of the scenarios I'm talking about. People can't win in that scenario. You know, kind of a clapback at this magnifying glass that the world has on her. And I genuinely, and she's doing the best she can, but I think more likely she will just rip cancel culture to shreds, and I will be there for it. I feel like it'll be like a very playful song though, like tongue-in-cheek, kind of making fun of the whole thing. You know, taking it with a pinch of salt with like satire as fuck lyrics, like that would be so fun. And in the club kind of song. Number 11, another song that I have this like gut feeling I'm gonna like is called Honey. I just put like a note on here that just says sweet like honey, karma. I thought it was relevant. This is like my first like metaphor thought. Bees have stingers, but they make such sweet honey. And then just like quoted, if you never bleed, you're never gonna grow. So like that kind of thing, like you've got to go through something bad to get something sweet. That kind of like, you know, hell was the journey, but it brought me heaven. Can you tell I'm a folklore stan? Can you tell, guys? Or it could be like about a relationship, calling the partner honey in like a playful kind of sweet way, you know, something really like actually romantic, like I was talking about, like that maybe. I put like on a more personal note, if this is like a sweet nothing, like the song before the final track kind of thing, it could be referencing to how honeybees literally work their whole lives to try and make something sweet, because I think that is such an interesting like thing, because that is basically what a lot of singers do. They work their whole lives to kind of be relevant sometimes, but also create something they can be proud of and something that is sweet in them and their expression. But I also put could be like the queen bee narrative, you know, constantly feeding the peasants with honey. We are the peasants. Metaphor, music. Okay, talk about the track that, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to know what this is. Ah! The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina motherfucking Carpenter, bitch. Of all the glitz and glamour of Sabrina's image and her music videos and her freaking outfits lately on tour and performing, this is like the perfect girl to bring onto this pop girl. Because her and Taylor have been through very similar things, which can only be called judging for literally being in love. Like, that's it. That's all. Like, you know what they did wrong? They were in love. Oh god, can you think of anything worse? And since like Sabrina is known for like the tongue-in-cheek humor, you know, she's satire as fuck, I do feel like this song is going to be so playful because she's on it. I feel like she would be the perfect addition to kind of like what the life of a showgirl is, because she's kind of gone through, like I said, a similar experience to Taylor. She might have like, it might have taken her so long to start her career, but I feel like her and Taylor are very much pop girls at the top at the moment, so it's a really interesting kind of thing. Like, I feel like they're just gonna make fun of like all the ridiculous rumors and assumptions that come with being a showgirl. That said though, Sabrina has written some really gentle and sadder songs, like Decode and Sharpest Tool, that kind of thing. So it could be like a more tragic kind of song, but I doubt it. I doubt it. If it is, I will be ready with the tissues and just be like, oh my god. But I feel like it's gonna be like a pop banger. So I'm leaning towards a more upbeat kind of theory on it, because Sabrina's kind of become known for that. Like, it'll be like taking misfortunes with a pinch of salt, choosing love instead of fear, laughing at life, you know, that kind of thing, which I would love to hear in a song, because sometimes you've just gotta laugh it off. You've just gotta laugh it off, dude. And I do think this is the song that's gonna say, well, that's show business for you. Like, that's the caption she's been putting on it, kind of like the all's fair in love and poetry, I love you, it's ruining my life kind of thing. So I think this might be the song with that in it. Laugh off the haters. Choosing to sparkle. I think that's what the song's gonna be about. I hope, anyway. And yes, that's my kind of take on all 12 tracks, and I think their vibes, like I said, we'll find out on October 3rd if I'm right or wrong or middle thing. I have 2 more things to do in this video, which is talk about music videos, singles, and go through my TS12 Life of a Showgirl bingo card, because then we can look back on it and see how right or wrong I was. So music videos, I think she will release 2. I think we'll have Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter, oh my god, and Cancelled. Reason for this, just a vibe. Just a vibe. A lot of the time, she, like, you know, she did Fortnite with Post Malone. I feel like the collab is the perfect thing to do for a music video, and it is the title track, so it'd be iconic. My sister, I can thank my sister for this kind of insight of how the music video could work. She said, wouldn't it be cool if the music video started where Because I Liked a Boy left off, kind of like that circus glam kind of look? And I was like, ooh, imagine Because I Liked a Boy Sabrina meeting Bejeweled Taylor. That'd be so good. But other than that, I cannot tell you what they do. All I know is that they would sparkle. They would fucking sparkle. Cancelled, I put like vigilante shit, like meets burlesque. I feel like that would be like kind of what, you know, with the chair, with the iconic chair, you know, something like that, like a red vibe, red lens, red coloring, red and black. That's the vibe I'm getting. Other than that, no idea. Ooh, bingo card. I scribbled my first attempt, but look at these. Like, some of them my sister came up with, so we're kind of sharing a bingo card, but yeah. I will read out my bingo card, and on October 3rd we can go back and see how many I got right or wrong. So, To Be or Not to Be, spoken or sung in track 1. I am almost certain this is going to happen. I will be surprised if it doesn't, because iconic. The Life of a Showgirl music video. The Life of a Showgirl as a single. Football metaphor. I feel like after Torture Poets, this is very likely. I just thought, yeah, football metaphor, let's do it. A talking part, like talk singing in Cancelled. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like a New Year's Day. Santa, Santa, boy, you're the worst. It's the 25th. I wish it was the first. Any reference to glitter, sparkling, etc. Like, I feel like that's inevitable. My sister put this one, reference to puppetry in wood. I did not actually think of that perspective of like carving puppets and the whole Pinocchio thing in the background of the New Heights podcast. Cool. A Judy Garland reference. I just think that would be something really cool to add. A dollar cash like ka-ching sound in Wishlist. Like, you know, like the beginning of I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day. Like that. Cancelled as a single. I think there'll probably be 2 singles. And if there's 3 singles, I'm gonna guess that Wishlist will probably be the 3rd single. Rapping in Wishlist, that's what my sister put. That would be so interesting. Like an endgame moment. A new romantic reference in track 7. That'll be interesting. Opalite will be my favourite. I'll put that in the middle. A Jason Kelsey reference, you know. Why not? One or some songs will be the pop rock genre. If that happens, I will be a happy boy. Cleopatra reference in track 2. Again, that would be so cool. A talking segment between Taylor and Sabrina. That's what my sister put, and I think she means like, you know, when it's like, as they say in Chicago, he had it coming, like at the end of emails, or the oh boy at the beginning of Manchild, something like that. Sabrina and Taylor having an overlapping exile moment, you know, like at the end, or like on the bridge or whatever, like something like that, but an absolute banger. That would be so cool. My sister also put more than one gemstone mentioned in Opalite, which I think is a really good one, so I'll have to tell her she got that right. New Heights reference, example, taking me to new heights, like in a lyric or something, like, yeah. Mention of the colour orange or variants of orange, like tangerine or burnt orange or something like that, you know, why not? The word era or eras used, because she did do that and I'm Gonna Get You Back, so who knows what she's gonna do. Who knows what she's gonna do with this album, especially considering it was behind the scenes of the Eras tour, like, you know, could say Eras. Rhyming car with bar. To be fair, I think we've got like a 50-50 chance of that happening. Travis in a music video. I'm sorry, after she brought him out on stage, I don't think this is off the table. It'd be so cool, him just playing like a bartender or like a top hat dude or like a showman. Showgirl showman, you know, with like a bedazzled football. Oh, so many images. And finally, wood will have the shortest bridge. Maybe that's a metaphor, because bridges can be made out of wood. So yeah, that's my bingo list. My sister helped by putting 4 of them on, so that'll be really interesting to see how many of those are actually true. I'm gonna have to like look back on this and like look back on my list and be like, let's sit down guys and like go through this. Anyway, I think that is everything I wanted to talk about, and I am so excited for this album. I'm not gonna lie though, I am so sad to be... voice break again. I am so sad to be leaving the Torture Poets department era behind, and I know it's not like the album's disappearing, it's not like I can never listen to it, but it's been such a fun time from April 2024 to now. I became kind of comfortable in my little sepia toned world that, you know, now it's kind of spitting colour at me. I'm waiting for TS12, but now that it's actually happening, I'm like, oh, TTPD's over. Like, the era. Like, I remember being so sad when the Speak Now Taylor's version era was over. To be fair, that didn't last very long. You know, TTPD will always have a special place in my heart as a poetry lover, literature lover, writing crazy person. But this album is gonna be so fun, and the fact that I'm starting uni with a new Taylor Swift album coming out 2 weeks into classes, I couldn't have asked for anything else, really. And me and my sister had like this discussion where I was like, it's kind of ironic because she started like drama school last year and I'm starting creative writing and English at uni this year, yet she started uni after Tortured Poets came out and I'm starting uni after Showgirl comes out, which I think is ironic if you think about what we're studying. Anyway, just a little piece of info just in case you were wondering. Yeah, I am so excited for this album. I can't. I'm so ready to wear orange. I don't wear orange enough. Maybe this album will get me to wear more orange. Possibly. Anyway, comment down below which song you are claiming, which track you think is going to be your fave, and then it'll be fun to look back on to see if it's changed like on October 3rd. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little deep dive into... I almost said Tortured Poets then, clearly I'm not over it. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into TS12, The Life of a Showgirl, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!